What's up, everybody? Lately, I've been thinking about the beauty of the ever-changing weather on our planet. Now, it takes little effort to see beauty and harmony in a warm, sunny day. But what about a lightning storm? Is there beauty and harmony to be found in what we call bad weather? Is bad weather really that bad? Could a storm be perfect as it is? I could only answer those questions with an illustration, and this is the making of video of that illustration. In terms of style, I'll be going towards something similar to a previous illustration I did titled Riders on the Storm. I think you can all guess which song inspired that illustration. As for mediums, I will be using watercolor, gouache, white ink pens, and black ink pens. As always, everything begins with a little idea sketch, then on to the main project. So I'm starting off wet on wet in the lower fourth of the composition. I'm using dark watercolors to paint the part of the landscape which is just the land. So I'm painting the mountains and I'm mixing up different darker greens and violets and blues and browns. Then I have to put on a second layer because as watercolor dries, it gets lighter because of the white of the paper. And I have to keep darkening it by adding a couple of layers and drying it in between. Then I move on to the first layer of sky that I will also paint wet on wet. Now this is the part where it gets messy. But remember, when you get messy, you might be only a few moments away from achieving your goal. Watercolor is perfect for painting clouds and atmosphere because when you work wet on wet, the paint just moves and drifts organically and creates those soft transitions that we see in nature. But to achieve that effect, you need to give up your desire to control the paint all the time, everywhere. And this could be pretty enthralling because you begin to discover the painting as you paint it. It almost feels like it is painting itself in a way. Once the watercolor layers are done and dry, I move on to white ink to draw the first main lightning bolt, and I use smaller white ink pens to draw the smaller lightning bolts coming off the main one. And then I use pens and black ink to sketch in the tree and add some thickness with thicker ink pens. Now I will spend a bit of time refining the fine little shapes and outlines of the tree and the lightning bolt to make sure there's no mistakes or weird changes in thickness. I felt like the composition was missing something in the middle, so I added an iris and a pupil in the middle, sort of the eye of the storm kind of concept. Now I'm moving on to gouache to paint the foreground as opposed to the atmosphere and the background that I wanted to make more blurry and transparent. I want the ground on which the tree stands to be a bit more opaque, so that's why I'm using gouache. Ironically, the lighting for this video, as you can see, was a little bit messed up by the ever-changing clouds in the sky. So to finish the illustration, I'm adding a little bit of texture and detail in the clouds above with gouache. I'm also highlighting the circular motion of the composition with those details. And this is the final illustration. Thank you for watching this making of video. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content about art and creativity sprinkled with messy jokes.